Hello, my name is Ashley, this is Faithful Rattos, and welcome or welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering a topic that I see being spoken about online an awful lot. I see a lot of people saying that their rat has ended up pregnant and it must have been mating through the bars. And I'm here to explain to you why it's not mating through the bars, why that is absolutely impossible, physically impossible for a rat to get pregnant through the bars, and what might have happened instead, which people may not realise. So, rats cannot mate through the bars because of the position they have to get in to have a successful mating. So at first, the doe obviously needs to be in heat and receptive to the buck involved, and the buck needs to be willing to mount her. And I'm going to put a video on screen from when I was purposely pairing my rats for my breeding program to show you just what mating looks like. And I'll even slow down. It's not super clear footage, but it will give you an idea of why this is just not possible. Female rats have to get into this position that is called lordosis. And this is very similar to other mammals as well. They have a similar position like this, where her back is arched and the male is mounting her from behind, and her tail is up and out of the way in order for him to be able to mate her successfully. So this is why mating through the bars is impossible, because it's physically impossible for this position to be achieved through the bars. And this is why your rats didn't mate through the bars. But there are some other things that could have happened. And the first thing that could have happened is actually that the bars on one or both of your cages are actually too wide, the bar spacing is too wide, and female rats can get in. Now, we all know that female rats tend to be a bit smaller than male rats, and so this means that they are much more able to squeeze into smaller spaces than male rats can. And some cages that are out there that are geared towards rats or advertised to be suitable for rats have large bar spacing, have bar spacing of 1 inch or more. And this may contain males very well, but this will not contain females. I know also that Savick Royal Suite 95, the SRS, the middle shelf has larger bar spacing, and if you've built it wrong and you put the middle shelf on the top, then the female rats may be able to get out. Or if this is housing your male rats, they're probably fine in there. But if your female rats can get in, then that's going to pose you a problem and risk of pregnancy as well. And this is why it's really, really important to make sure that your rats are in a cage with bar spacing of about 1 centimetre or 1.5 centimetres, because anything more does pose a risk, especially if you have both sexes of rats in your house, especially in the same room. And I will say, as I've mentioned in other videos before, a lot of does, especially when they're on heat, are very, very focused on finding themselves a man, and they will, and they do, squeeze themselves into the cages that the male rats are in. So that's the first way that an accidental litter can happen that isn't mating through the bars. The second one is that the rat has already come pregnant to you. So this can be from missexing. This can be from the person not telling you that a mating has occurred. This can be from a variety of different sources as well. Most pet shops are not going to be sexing their rats very well. I know of hundreds of stories of accidental litters happening from pets at home rats, for example, because they haven't been sexed properly, even though it's really easy to tell. So that is one way where your rats are missexed and you bring home males and females. Even my partner had this happen when he was a kid. They bought what they thought were 2 rats of the same sex, and they ended up being 1 boy and 1 girl, and they had an accidental litter. So this is also possible, whether they got pregnant wherever they were or they're pregnant with you because of a missexing incident. And the other thing that happens is some people will have play dates with their male and female rats because they think it's okay and that they can separate them, and it can be like dogs where, you know, you can intervene if the do happens, if that makes sense. But this really isn't possible for you to separate when it comes to rats, because matings happen in less than 5 seconds. It's very, very quick, as you can see from the videos that I've shown. And so even one round of mating in a fertile doe can lead to litters, and do lead to litters. We have to remember that rats are innately very, very fertile. They come into heat all the time to be able to sustain a population in the wild. That's the biology that they have. And so they can get pregnant from a single mating, and you can't stop it. Once it's started, it's over and it's done, and you might have a bit of a problem after that. I did also want to mention in this video, if that you think that your rat could be pregnant accidentally, whether it's from missexing or you accidentally had them meet, or they had a play date and you didn't realize they could mate and they did, you can put a stop to it. We don't have to bring in these litters. We can stop them before they even start. So there are a couple of medications that the vets can give you to remove any chance of pregnancy. And you can also get that female rat spayed as well. That's another option. It's a bit more drastic, as obviously that does involve surgery, but that is a possibility. So I do implore you, if you get into a situation where you have an accidental litter and you can tell maybe that the female rat is starting to act a bit weird, or you're suspicious that she may have been around males before you've gotten her, maybe you've rescued her, or you know for a fact that they have been with males, that it is possible to use some medications to prevent pregnancy. And these medications are also safe in the off chance that they aren't pregnant and you are just using them on the safe side, so they are safe. One of them is called Galostop or Finalac or Cabergoline. Those are different names for this medication, and this will be administered orally for a period of about a week, twice a day, to prevent a pregnancy. And then there's another medication called Alazin, which is given by injection, and you have to go for 2 injections 24 hours apart to have the pregnancy be stopped. I have gone down the Alazin route when I rescued female rats that had been living with males, and we didn't have any pregnancies after we used the Alazin. So there is ways around this. We don't have to let the litter happen, which I think is especially important when we don't really know the backgrounds of the rats involved. If they're rescues, if they're from pet shops, we don't really want to bring in more rats of that nature into the world who are going to be here with problems. It can sometimes happen from breeders or ethical breeders. Now, I would say it's all about how the breeder has gotten into that situation, how they handle it. But I will say, if this has happened repeatedly and they're repeatedly giving out pregnant rats, then maybe that's something you don't want to support. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. It's a bit of a quick video compared to some of the most recent ones here on my channel. I have lots of exciting content coming up. If you have any suggestions of what you'd like me to talk about, do leave that in the comments. If you've had an experience of an accidental litter, tell me about it in the comments and we'll see maybe what happened there. But yeah, your rats did not make it through the bars. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!